Welcome back to the news at 10. The Osun State Police Command has uncovered what it described as a strange camp in Iwo town, where people are allegedly believed to be subjected to inhuman treatment under the guise of receiving treatment for mental illness. The State Commissioner of Police said 26 persons have been evacuated from the camp, but one person died on the way to the government hospital.
We will receive information of the existence of a camp somewhere in Iwo where some sick fellows were being treated in a very dehumanized manner. And it was as a result of the information that we contacted the necessary agency of government to join us to visit the place today.
This is the dehumanizing condition under which some mentally challenged people live, tucked in the Odoro area on the outskirts of Iwo town in the Iwo local government area of Osun State. The Osun State Police Command, acting on a tip-off, stormed the area. This man, Kamal Dina Komu, says he's the owner of this camp, and these people, he claims, are receiving treatment here for mental illness. The change here perhaps confirms the information the police received. Some of the victims are often chained, and to make matters worse, some have passed on. The police actually evacuated 2 bodies and rescued 26 others. Another of the victims gave up before they arrived at the State Specialist Hospital in Osogbo. The Osun State government has moved to handle the situation. The bodies have been deposited at the state's hospital mortuary in Osogbo. Those rescued have been taken to a rehabilitation center in Ilobo town, while the police will dig deeper to unravel more details about this strange camp.
The Tauba Empowerment Scheme set up by the Gombe State government is to equip the youth with practical skills through the transfer of technology. This is one of many initiatives the government hopes to provide jobs for the people. An assembly plant has also been opened in the state capital, where 40 young men and women will be trained to assemble 6-seater tricycles in collaboration with a Pakistani rickshaw company.
It's an empowerment scheme that aims to solidify the Gombe State government's diversification program and promote its industrialization drive. Over 40 youth will be trained at this tricycle assembly plant, established in collaboration with a Pakistani rickshaw company. Training includes welding, electrical wiring and vulcanizing. 550 units of 6-seater tricycles will be assembled for a start.
By the special grace of God, we will take proactive measures to expand the capacity of what we have here, so that it will be a source of maybe future revenues for Gombe and other activities. You know, a gateway to technological transfer between us and the people who are assisting us technically.
There are other benefits that come with this empowerment program.
So this is convertible. You can use the back seat as your boot, where you keep your loads, while you have the other passengers inside in the middle, or you can use it as a passenger carrier. So it's a multi-purpose model of tricycle, whereby it can benefit especially the rural areas where they will have to transform maybe their farm produce and things like that. So they have like a boot behind them.
It's another business opportunity for the beneficiaries who are excited to be a part of the scheme.
I learned a lot of things like installing a radiator, installing a dashboard. A lot of things are already benefiting here.
They train us well, but now we are ready to do it with, even though they are not around. Even though they are not around, we people of Gombe say, you that we can do it.
When completed, the tricycles will complement the transportation system of the northeastern state as they will travel through the metropolis and rural areas.
To make a success of the anti-corruption fight, the problem should also be considered as a spiritual one and must be dealt with as such. This is according to the Executive Secretary of the National Christian Pilgrims Commission, Tor Uja. He believes more sponsorship of government officials to undertake pilgrimages will raise their moral standards and deter them from corrupt practices.
Pilgrims from states of the Federation at a meeting to mark the end of the 2016 pilgrimage. Before embarking on the trip, there was a session of praise and worship to mark the successful pilgrimage to Israel and Rome for the year 2016. The Executive Secretary of the National Christian Pilgrims Commission wants more sponsorship, especially for public office holders, to raise their moral rectitude if the fight against corruption is to be attained.
The government of Nigeria should keep reminding people in office, including legislators, that they are human beings and they need to keep oiling and rekindling their spirit. Otherwise, if we don't handle issue of corruption spiritually, the pursuit and arrest alone will not solve the problem. And I believe sending them on pilgrimage where they can pray, study the scripture, do meditation, and rediscover their origins and their duty to their nation, it will help better to organize people who are supposed to provide us with a serious service.
Besides sponsorship for public officers to the Holy Land as a way of curbing corruption, he also wants the federal government to fix the lapses in the aviation sector for prompt airlifting of pilgrims.
I will still call on the federal government to fund our airline industry so that we can strengthen it to be able to operate and be more globally competitive. Right now, no Nigerian airline has capacity for global competition.
Some of them pledged to offer prayers for the nation and the leaders while in the Holy Land.
I'll pray for Nigeria, I'll pray for my dear president, and of course I'll pray for my dear governor, that's M. Abakar, I'm from Bauchi State, and I'll pray for the entire journalism profession because they are the bridge between the governed and the government.
Pilgrimage serve as tool for moral building. Many hope that this will be reflected in the lives of those performing the pilgrimage, which will also translate to better socio-economic development for the country.
The Standards Organization of Nigeria has seized some 60 containers of fake tires worth over 5 billion naira from a Chinese company. According to the Director General of the Standards Organization of Nigeria, Anthony Aboloma, the seizure, which followed a tip-off from a whistleblower, is the largest in Nigeria's history. The culprits have been handed over to law enforcement agents.
We're able to apprehend these people now with the assistance of well-meaning Nigerians that have suffered the menace of fake and substandard tires and other products. So we work together, the people that imported them, we've apprehended them, they are now chatting with the law enforcement agents, and with the new Sun Act, we are going to try them, if need be, send them to jail. We should no longer play with the lives, play politics, or make profit with the lives of Nigerians. This is a problem. It's a clear and present danger that intends to consume us. Not only do they stop there, they go ahead to post-date the tires. Look at this. Camera, please turn to this. These tires, they arrived, they came into Nigeria though through the seaports. They came in about 3 weeks ago. But look at it here, it's post-dated. Look at this now, it's dated first week of January 2017. And it came into Nigeria second week of February 2017. So there's no way you would have been able to manufacture this thing, send them into Nigeria, clear them, and stock them before before this date. Some of them even arrive on before their clearance. You clear a tire in February, it will be really manufactured in March. These are the things we should look out for.
We really do need to be vigilant. Let's cross over now to our business studios where Millicent Walker is standing by.
Many thanks, Harriet. Well, lending rates at the interbank market are expected to open lower next week on anticipated inflows from the monthly Federal Accounts Allocation Committee. The committee on Tuesday disbursed 465.15 billion naira for the month of January to the three tiers of government, 65.15 billion naira more than what was doled out in December 2016. Overnight lending rates at the interbank money market fell by 4.59% this week to 14.08% as against 18.67% recorded last week. The market rate saw significant volatility this week, touching highs of 132% and 133% each on Tuesday and Thursday. In the meantime, over 198.05 billion naira worth of treasury bills matured this week. This also helped to reduce the pressure on liquidity. And on Nigeria's debt market, the central bank will offer about 310.23 billion naira across the 91-day, 182-day and 364-day treasury bills on Wednesday next week. In the secondary market, dealers expect proceedings to be impacted by the level of system liquidity, which will be largely driven by the Apex Bank's actions. At the bond segment of the market, dealers expect activities to broadly reflect liquidity positions. Nigerian equities closed the week with a narrow gain of 0.34% to close the week at 25,250.37 with a market capitalization of 8.73 trillion naira amid weak investor confidence. However, market breadth was negative with 32 losers led by Unilever, Forte Oil and Vitafoam, while 17 stocks on the gainers table were led by Nigerian breweries, Guinness and Nigeria Police Microfinance Bank. Overall volume turnover for the week dropped by 28.8% to 765.65 million shares, while the value of the transactions increased by 12.87% to 9.71 billion naira, all traded in over 12,000 deals. The financial services sector contributed the highest chunk to the activity chart, with over 570 million shares traded by investors. Next are the consumer goods and the conglomerate sectors of the market. Fitch Ratings has affirmed Lagos State's long-term foreign and local currency insurer default ratings at B+, with negative outlook, and short-term foreign currency issuer default rating at B. While the agency also rates the state's national long-term rating at AA+, with a stable outlook. The affirmation reflects the state's weak socioeconomic indicators by international standards, as well as expectations of resilient operating performance, while the negative outlook reflects Fitch's forecast for Nigeria, which is put at B+. Fitch expects the Governor Ambode administration's efforts towards improving transparency and accountability, as well as a larger recourse to public-private partnerships to attract foreign investments and sustain the state's revenue. And the Nigeria International Trade and Investment Conference, scheduled to hold in March, has been postponed to June the 13th to the 15th. Well, this is because of the temporary closure of the Abuja International Airport for a 6-week runway repair from March the 8th, which is expected to have an impact on government as well as business activities. Well, the conference aims in particular to attract farming investment to boost local food production and reduce the country's dependency on oil exports. And that's Business News tonight. Many thanks for watching. I'm Millicent Walker. It's back to Harriet.
Thank you, Millicent. Still ahead on the news at 10. English Premier League leaders Chelsea move 11 points clear at the top of the table, courtesy of a 3-1 win against Swansea. That's on Sports News. Stay with us.